Hello, everybody. I'm going to talk about, I guess, a little bit of a personal experience. My dad sent me this link to take a look at. It was an audiobook on self-discipline. And in this thing, there was so many things that he was sure was a part of who I am and kind of my personality. And very interestingly enough, I listened to this book a couple times, and I didn't really feel like any of those traits or concepts had much to do with me. This is very interesting because when I listened to it the second time, it's pretty obvious that there's no way that I could have done what I've done with my life without using these skills to the fullest, really. And the fact that I don't feel kind of connected to them in a way, there's certain things that I listen to or hear about myself. I'm like, yeah, that's me for sure. That's exactly it. And it has like a emotional resonance, let's say, is quite interesting. To me, it doesn't make too much sense why I'd have that reaction. If they're logically things that I know about myself and it must be true, then why am I not getting the same fulfillment part from listening to this thing that must be about myself and kind of give me this motivation to grow even more and I guess appreciate what I've done with these skills. And it would seem, through some reflection, some personal reflection, it would seem that these things came so naturally to me that I don't particularly see them as anything special. This is probably more truthful to what a let's say personal gift is. If we are all born with specific gifts, and these gifts allow us to navigate life in our best light, and then accomplish that thing that only we can accomplish because we have the value behind these certain experiences, and we can wield these skills and virtues and characteristics to their highest potential. It would seem that it would be something soft and something that you don't quite hold as powerful because when you have something in abundance, it doesn't have the same power uh, as something would feel if you've only had it for a short time. So, for example, if I've always been good at remembering things, when people essentially applaud me on my memory, it doesn't seem as everything because I've always been good with memorizing things. But the moment that I gain the skill to um, play soccer, it's ecstatic. It's this brand new thing that's amazing, and I've done it and I've achieved this thing. And because of that, now I can become more myself, which is more, I guess, the mm, unique expression, the novel expression, let's call it, and not the true thing. But if it was something that you've always had, that thus cannot deplete, thus is really a core aspect of your character, then it should feel kind of unimpressive. And because of this, this is generally what people are going to actually pick up about your personality. The thing that you are without trying is what they're going to see. And in this way, um, it's kind of unknown to you, but very evident to everybody else. So they might give you compliments and say, wow, you know what? You're such a fascinating person. You're so determined at something, or you're so devoted to a cause, or you're just so loving or caring. And we might say, oh, well, that's whatever, and not really look at that as anything, but somebody else might have a quality that we really aspire to, and we look up to them for that. And you see how this kind of passes along to everybody else. But I think taking this time to um, sit back and reflect on things that people may say about you in a positive way that you don't really see as important or that great of a thing might be something very key to your personality and who you are. And in kind of staying with what that feels like, you might be able to find more and more things. What makes this kind of important is that you see kind of the true nature to yourself, for lack of a better word, um, and you're able to form a more solid understanding of who you are as an individual. And in that way, you take on life a lot more bold and with a lot more self confidence when you take on things. I find it very powerful to be able to state kind of a truth about yourself if I know that I am a caring person and somebody challenges me saying that I'm unthoughtful, and from their perspective, let's say, I could easily reflect to myself and say, well, that's pretty much impossible, because I know for a fact that I am a thoughtful person. Several people have told me so, and they've told me in a way that it's about my character and not just about the action that I have done for them or in their presence. Therefore, I know that this is what the other person is saying is not true about myself. And then I could apply or reply to it appropriately in a kind of subtle, confident way and say, oh, okay, well, that's interesting that you might say that. How did you come to that conclusion? And regardless of the answer, it's not a personal thing. I don't take it personally. It's just their opinion, and most likely they're projecting something of theirs onto me, and I can facilitate their help and be like, oh, is that true? I didn't know that people thought that version of doing something was unthoughtful. Well, thank you for bringing it up. I'll keep that in mind. And the person gets to express themselves, and you probably challenge their thoughts on that, allowing them to reflect when they leave and go on about their day. And therefore, you've truly expressed thoughtfulness, you see, and being able to see the other person's challenge and respond appropriately. So I think that this is very interesting, and I'm going to follow this experience and see if I can unravel some more things that are strongly rooted around this. And again, it's important to the definition of self-care, because the more that you understand yourself is the easier it is for you to navigate challenges and not lose yourself in the challenge, which is the self-care part. If you can remain yourself throughout the ups and downs of life, then you become steady. You become that environment of safety, of strength, of pride, that rock, that strong foundation for yourself, and in that way, eventually embodying it into your character and your personality. And at some point, it will become effortless to you because you've kind of revealed so many of the realities where this kind of steadiness is needed, that in almost any situation, people can see that about yourself. So anyway, I'm not going to get into that tail part and leave you with a few things to think about and to question. Thank you very much for listening and participating with my novel experience around personal characteristics that I did not know or not appreciate, I guess, about myself. Thank you very much.